Hello and welcome to another tutorial video. In this video I'm going to be showing you 21 building tricks using the new Italy items added, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I would recommend watching my previous video in which I show you everything new in the Italy update. But with that said, let's begin with tip number 1, and that is that you can create mind the gap or watch your step precautions on the sides of your train station by taking the racetrack junctions and placing them on either side of your tracks like this, and you can color them if you like, and this will just create a pretty cool mind the gap warning effect. Tip number 2, you can place racetracks on top of buildings or on the edges so that only the borders stick out, and it creates this nice separation effect which works really well for buildings, especially for restaurants. Tip number 3, you can put restaurants on the bottom of taller buildings to create awnings, and then you can use brick walls or brick doors to cover the gap. Tip number 4, you can put the front of tanker trucks under windows like this to create an AC unit. Tip number 5, you can put the back of a tanker truck under windows to create an outer window sill. Tip number 6, putting an overhanging racetrack on a building, then putting down buffers as supports can create an awning effect. Tip number 7, this one has a little bit more of a specific use case, but nevertheless you can put spectator seating inside of roofs and it adds a little bit more of detail, and I rarely use this, but if you feel like your roofs are lacking something, then you can give this a try. Tip number 8, you can put the back of an ambulance in a building to create what looks like restaurant kitchen doors. Tip number 9, you can put spectator seating inside of London Parliament buildings to create what looks like stage details or string lights. Tip number 10, racetrack starts can look like crosswalks. Tip number 11, you can paint tanker trucks brown and place them next to log piles to look like the tanker is carrying a large log instead of a tank. Tip number 12, you can put spectator seating backwards against brick arch doors and it looks like a window separator. Tip number 13, you can put a car colored this kind of gray inside of the front of a tanker truck to look like a semi-truck. Tip number 14, put two police cars inside of each other with the flatter side out on each side to create a van. Tip number 15, put a buffer inside of a police car like this to add a bumper. Tip number 16, you can put a buffer inside of a sports car like this to add a spoiler. Tip number 17, put a light signal right next to the racetrack start of a racetrack to add a countdown indicator. Tip number 18, put a smoke emitter behind a sports car that is turning a corner to make it look like the car is drifting. Tip number 19, you can create a quick beach umbrella by using a brick pillar, racetracks, a brick pyramid, and a brick stage, and you can color it however you like. Tip number 20, you can make a runway by putting racetrack junctions on both sides of a road and then adding ducts on both sides to add runway lights. And finally, tip number 21, you can create a speed bump using the racetrack junctions by coloring the border yellow and placing it on a road, probably near a store or a restaurant. And that will pretty much do it for the tips. Let me know if you want a full tutorial on an airport in the future, but anyways, I want to give a thanks to Astroveil, JoBlox, ZMW7, Fiery Illusion, Michealman and Fujiwara860, as I did use a few of their ideas in this video. And finally, I would like to thank you for watching, and if you'd like to get more videos like this one to help you improve your railway, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See ya!